Hey everyone, welcome to I Totally Love It. My name is Susan, and today is hashtag M is for Mondays. This week we're focused on mass making. And you can choose whatever project you want to work on. You can make clusters, you can make dangles, tabs, um, tags, journal cards, you can just make bases. Um, I am going to make more stampy bits. And you're probably wondering what are Stampy Bits, Susan? For those who are new, um, it's just taking book page edges even. Sometimes when I print out digital on the back, I'll print like a full page, like if they're cut aparts or fussy cuts. Um, Print out something else on the back so to not waste like a big piece of paper like that, because we can stamp on that. This is from a ledger paper. There's This is just the bottom half of a page that was out of a book, but there was so much white space I saved it. Music sheet edges, even the little branding strips on the top of scrapbook paper. And normally I store them like this. However, these right here have all come from my scrap bag, and I know I've shared this a few times, and I know this is not all of them, but it doesn't feel like I've taken anything out, but clearly I've taken out quite a bit. This is more than enough to handle. And this is something you can do while watching TV. Get your little lap desk and get a selection of um, strips, page edge strips. Your your little narrow stamps, like so these little like numbers or dates or words or um, all these little long pieces. Tickets. I know you can't probably see those, but like tickets. That's backwards, I know. But numbers, all these little things, stars, and stamp. And I like to leave them together until I need them, because sometimes I will, say instead of like cutting all those apart, I'll tear and keep both of those together like that. So, um, these kinds of stamps like these, you can do those as well. So those are fun. And of course, you can use whatever ink you want to use. I tend to use, most of the time, I think every time, well, most of the time, the VersaFine Clair Nocturne. So it's my black ink. I have my little stamping block. So I have my little ones. Let me get them out here. That one and that one. And then I'll even get this one out for the long pieces. And now you can go one by one and just stamp, stamp, stamp. Or maybe move these kind of out of the way and share what I did last time. I do have a video from last time that I did this. But, line up your pieces. So let's see here. So I've got to line up my pieces here. That's not book page, but digital. And so I will line all the way down, and then I'll get a piece of nice, sturdy washi tape, and I'll just put it like kind of barely on the edge and you can even leave a little bit of the paper here exposed, so it's gripping the strips, the paper, and then your mat that you're working on, and just line them up. And so you can even like overlap and get like partial stamping. So that's kind of fun if you're using like a bigger stamp. And then when you get all the way to the bottom, and then I've done this before too, get little pieces and fill in these spots and go down across that side. And but I think today, I don't know if I'll fill up the whole page, but I think I'll use my washi, do a little stamping. The nice thing about when you do have the full page like this is, maybe I'll do that, is you can like take that stamp that you're using, stamp it in random places. And that way they're not like all right next to each other. And then you're getting a variety of papers with different, patinas on them. Like that one's a really nice one. Look at that. So let me get this set up and I'll be back and we'll do some stamping. And I would also, recommend having your, whatever you're going to put it in. Now I put them in the Ziploc bag here. So that does mean I either have to fold them or like tear them into parts, like bigger parts, but you could also store them in this, one of these, or a big Ziploc bag, or a shoe box, or somewhere where you'll remember you have them, because they're great. I've actually made tacks with these where they overlap. It's really cool. Um, and another idea for the page edges, if you haven't been saving these, besides stamping on them, is gluing them to the back of, say you've done, say you've altered a playing card and you want to put that in your journal and you want to be able to write on it, you can glue these on the back, just layer them. And it's really fun when they're different, you know, patinas, different agings. And you just glue them and so you have writing space. If you do them on a masterboard as well, reach for this is my masterboard from the other week. If I can get it without all the stuff falling there. Remember we just did that on the back of that scrapbook paper, and I like the back of that. But let's say you didn't like the back or the front, or one side was white and one side was patterned. Anyways, you could, cover it with these. That's not my idea. I got that from watching Gail Augustinelli. So I've used it from time to time. All right, so let me get this set up and I'll come back and do some stamping. All right, be right back. Okay, I've got, I just did one side here, and like I said, the washi it's nice and wide. This was like 3/4 inch washi, and it's touching the strips, the paper, and the mat. Now you don't have to have the paper, but it's kind of cool too when you're done with the paper and you have all these little maybe stamp bits in between. And I do try to do better at filling in those gaps, but this is just a show you how to do it kind of video. So I'm going to start with this Bo Bunny airmail stamp. Just got that at Hobby Lobby. Sorry for all that noise. So a lot of these will work great. So you could even put a couple, if you wanted to put them side by side on your stamping block. So let's see here. I like the numbers. Now I will tell you, I've used previously when I did this activity, I've actually used one. Let me show you before I get started here. Different inks, and this one wasn't so bad. I think this was Distress Oxide. I believe that's what it was. The prize ribbon, the blue one. But I'd also used the archival ink, and it actually turned the stamp that I was using like yellow, like it yellowed the stamp. So I haven't used those stamp, and also the stamp when it's stamped on these book page edges. These are all different types of paper as well. It bled, and so you really couldn't. Let's see if I can find one in my little stash. This is part of the problem. I put these in here and then I don't ever use them. Okay, so those red ones I believe are like lumberjack plaid or whatever it is from Tim Holtz. Let's see this brown. That's not even the worst one because that paper, and I may have thrown like this one. Like it was really hard to see the archival. I'm probably like, those don't look bad. There was one that was just terrible. And like I said, it could have been the paper as well, like the combination of the two. I may have thrown it away, but I think this one, these are the same stamp. So I know part of it is the paper, um, the ink's reaction to the paper. So, um, test it out. If it's not going well, then change out your ink. Okay, so I've had luck with this black VersaFine, and it's done really well for me. Anything that's a blur is user error. And then, of course, I have these little stamps. Those are fun. All right, so I am going to just put some on here. I'm going to get my ink, and I'm going to do little random stampings here and there. I'm going to try to change out every now and then. But like I said, this is something you can sit and do a little strip at a time while you're watching TV. Get a strip, maybe stamp. And I try to stamp also like close to and then add to the line instead of just like random in the middle, because then you get gaps sometimes if you do that, and kind of wasted space. So I do try to maybe start at the left and kind of work my way across the strips there. All right, so I'm gonna put some music on, and you can always listen to your own music. But I'll see you on the other end, and we'll see what the outcome is. All right, guys. So go grab your strippy bits and your stamps and your favorite ink pad, and other colors in VersaFine. All right. Sit back, relax, enjoy some tunes, and let's get cracking. All right, guys. So there's my new little pile of freshly stamped strippy bits, as I call them. I still have, a whole bunch left. I would advise that you keep them in something that keeps them flat. And so the ones that I have left here, I am going to kind of cut them down because those little bends in the paper, like that, little creases, kind of affect uh, how they line up on your paper and how it stamps as well. Also, I wanted to note that that one paper it's this one. It's kind of a shiny. I don't know if you can see the glare on it. Yeah. So that's something to think about too. If I was really paying attention, I wouldn't have put that on there because that's gonna kind of smear. And in the future, that kind of paper, if I use something like that and I tear this off, I'll probably just throw that away. Um, but that smeared and probably just throw that away. But those came out all right. And if it doesn't bother you, um, to have the leftover page numbers or words left over from where you tore it, or the chapter titles or whatever, then you're good with those too. Otherwise, you're gonna want to take those off, like chapter 1, or every number tells a story. Sounds like a good journal. um, so keep them flat if you can, and when you store them, I find it best to store them kind of you know in smaller strips like this. But you do you. Another thing, I didn't do any of these, but those little like decorative pieces, those are fun. I've also done. I have a stamp. I couldn't put my hands on it, but I think it's a Tim Holtz one. It's like longer with a bunch of numbers and just a stamp over a bunch. That's really cool. I think I've used up all my bits. Look at that. What's fun. Little stars. Oh, look. There's a blank one that got in there. But yeah, just get your stamps out. Have some fun. try different inks. That's something I probably need to do. I do like the black ink best, but I do have some other VersaFine colors I could try. But when you're watching TV and you're not at your crafting table, but you still kind of want to be crafty and doing something, then mask making. So I could have done this under the mixed media video the other day, but I was going to make a ton. So I was like, well, let's just call it mask making. And then these things too, like if you want to make clusters, so maybe next month when I do mask making, maybe I'll do clusters and I'll pull some of these little strippy bits into my clusters. So also you can make a masterboard from these. Lots of fun things. That would be really cool. So maybe I'll make a bunch more of these. Next month we can make a masterboard with them. And then we can make clusters for mask making with them. We can do some collaging on our mixed media and throw some of those in there. So I'm going to put them in my little Ziploc bag. And I'm going to, before I pack up my desk, I'm going to gather some of these to work on in the other room while I'm watching YouTube on the TV. Because that's easier to watch than on my phone or my computer screen. And then, if you can keep hold of this paper every time, eventually you'll have a really cool paper with all the little overlaps from your stamps. So, so I would advise that. This is really good tape, and it did peel when I was peeling off carefully, but it did peel off some of the paper. So if that bothers you, you might get one that's less sticky. This is Daiso, but you can also stick it on something and then apply it, so it'll kind of take some of the stick out of it. Or like stick it to your. I'm showing you, but you can't see me. Like stick it to your clothes, or it'll pull like some of the lint off your clothes. If that makes sense, and it won't be as sticky. But I don't know if it'll still hold your stuff down. You'll have to like experiment with that. Of course, it depends on what you're wearing too, right? All right, you guys. So I appreciate you and your time. Thanks for joining in. Next Monday, it's mysteries. So it's anything. Doesn't have to start with an M. So if you want to make some dangles or something, or surprises, or mash it up, with a another challenge out there, like a Roxy's challenge, or there's a lot of alphabet challenges. So Jody Lewis has one. Miss Paint a Lot has one. Belinda's got the cards. Penny's got Deck the Year. Go check out Junk Journal News if you haven't, because there's a lot. There's a lot coming up. And, well, I've got 2 listed for March. So if you know of anything, but use this moment, please let me know, because I seem to find out like a week into things. And most of the things that are on Junk Journal News are things that I have found just searching and searching and searching. Or I found someone's video where they were doing someone's challenge. I was like, oh, I didn't know about that one. So, all right, you guys, keep me posted. And craft on, everybody. All right. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.